Let's enjoy now. They already you are live now. Let's enjoy this house on you. When you reach that, also share the own thing. My God is already live. Thank you. I just sent you the link now. We are not going to ask for the right share your team and we are going to do job we are going to, right? Do your own screen or YouTube channel. So use that. Then I'll grant you this permission. I'm not going to. I shared a Zoom link, right? Yes, you connect to Zoom and cover the event. As you are covering the event, I'll provide your own Zoom so that organize the YouTube channel. You just connect to Zoom and using your video. Yes. It's quickly. Already online. And it doesn't matter. Let us be watching. So take a look now. There's just an empty space. There's nothing left to get just a memory of there's just an empty space. That's why so much just Just stay right now. I was wondering, should I be but you change your mind. I'll be here. Baby, we both can love. Give all night, people smile. It's hard to take a risk in the world. To the side of it, and others say you too, so yes. But I see your true colors shine. See your true color. That's why I love you. Don't be afraid to show true colors. Even though you're ugly, wrong. Just see your true colors. Your true colors. That's why I love you. You take it all you can. Just call me up. You know what to do. You see your true colors. You see your true colors. That's why I love you. Don't be afraid. It's time to see your true colors. That's why I love you. Don't be afraid to show your true colors. Beautiful, lovely. She goes out to the man on the street, so in the it's cold around the world. There's some way he walks on, doesn't open. He pretends he won't hurt you. She's Twice, somebody you need paradise. Twice. This is a Middle Belt conference. So before we look at most of the speakers were able to have their own discussions, put together their papers. So from the summary of what we have in the papers, we will equally give you as well the communique while we continue with our discussion of the live stream. If we have made further adjustments to the communique, we will definitely send you some of this because we have some quality here. So right here on the high table, can we have please introduce yourself fully and quickly so that we could pick up from there.
Right. Good afternoon, all. My name is Joel Pam. I'm standing in for Honorable Simon Chiro, ADC candidate for House of Justice.
My name is Pastor Paul Isaac Audu from Crossroads State COPDEM Chairman. Thank you.
My name is Plateau State Chairperson. Chairperson. Thank you.
Joseph Gideon is my name. The COPDEM Chairman of local government and an aspirant for local government chairman. Thank you.
It's Nigel Chief, your South Local Government Secretary.
Okay, so thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I remain yours truly. Do leaders of thought, representatives of the members of COPDEM marchers, and distinguished members of the press. Good afternoon. It is with deep sense of responsibility and conviction that I welcome you to this all historic gathering, the Middle Belt COPDEM ADC Strategy Conference. We are gathered under a defining theme: Nigeria at a crossroads, building the winning coalition for 2027. A crossroads between the plan and renewal, crossroads between division and unity, a crossroads between politics as usual and purposeful leadership. But let me begin by reiterating that we, COPDEM, the Coalition for the Protection of Democracy, is a citizen-driven political advocacy and mobilization platform committed to good governance, the protection of democracy, and the defense of the people's mandate. We are not a political party, but a political action group that seeks to stop Nigeria from falling into a one-party state by encouraging the building of a coalition for healthier democracy and inclusion. We are a movement born out of frustration with systemic failure, sustained by the belief that Nigeria can and must work for all. It was this conviction that led COPDEM to take a bold and deliberate step to causes across Nigeria, because we understand Start early. Fragmented opposition weakens democracy, but united purposefulness builds power. Fragmented opposition weakens democracy, but united purpose builds power. After extensive consultations and grassroots engagements across Nigeria, one platform stood out: the African Democratic Congress. And that is way back in 2024, October, while we were scouting to see where we could push credible coalition. Now, the ADC stood out, not by sentiments, but by its openness, its structure, its orientation, and its willingness to embrace a people-driven coalition. The alignment was strategic and necessary. We came as builders, mobilizers of people, of coalition into the ADC. From grassroots mobilization across states, local governments, and wards, to investments in logistics, membership systems, and political structures, to attracting hundreds of aspirants and stakeholders into the ADC ecosystem. COPDEM has remained consistent in one mission: to help build the ADC into a credible national governing alternative. The Middle Belt, which is our domain of concern. Distinguished participants, today's conference is focused on a region that is often misunderstood: the Middle Belt. Now, let me make it clear. The Middle Belt is not merely a geographical level. It is a political identity. It is a cultural reality. It's a strategic force. While it is often administratively referred to as the North Central, the Middle Belt extends beyond North Central states and represents something deeper. Cultures and identities stretching from Kwara State, the central of Nigeria, to the Margi Nation in the northeastern Nigeria, where they were cut off from their relatives, and some even in Cameroon. These are just geographical lines, but the Middle Belt is a strong, vibrant nation. This playing a substantive, the Middle Belt is thus playing a stabilizing force in Nigeria's political architecture. The world must understand clearly the Middle Belt is not a peripheral. It is central to Nigeria's political future. Consider these facts: a population estimate of between 30 to 40 million Nigerians, a voting strength of over 20 million registered voters, a mobilizable electorate capable of delivering millions of decisive votes. Beyond numbers, the Middle Belt is the food basket of the nation, rich in natural and mineral resources, strategically located at the geographical heart of Nigeria. Yes, despite these contributions, the region has been faced with prolonged insecurity, endured political underrepresentation, and carried the burden of national stability without proportional recognition. Finally, but let us emphasize at this point, these challenges have not weakened the Middle Belt. They have strengthened us. What was once seen as fragmentation silenced is now a united raw consciousness. The Middle Belt today stands as a conscious political bloc, a decisive electoral force, and a strategic partner in coalition building. As we deliberate today under the theme, Nigeria at the Crossroads, building the winning coalition, we must ask ourselves What kind of coalition can win the hearts of the Nigerian people? What kind of leadership unites the Nigerian people? And national balance. Because in Nigeria, elections are not won by, they are won by legitimacy, fairness, and national acceptance. COPDEM remains committed to one clear objective: to build, strengthen, and mobilize a national coalition within the African Democratic Congress capable of being the bride of Nigeria's masses by offering a credible alternative. This conference is part of a deliberate national process from Abuja, the Middle Belt, and across Nigeria down to the South. The basic aim of aligning political forces and offer counsel to build a winning coalition. Conclusion. Today we rise transitioning from marginalization to relevance, from silence to strategic influence, from the margins to the center of Nigeria's political future. Distinguished participants, Nigeria is at a crossroads, and the decisions we take, the alliances we build, and the principles we uphold today will determine the future of our nation. Let our deliberations be guided by fairness, inclusion, strategic clarity, and national interests. Together, COPDEM and the African Democratic, not just an opposition, but a winning coalition, and ultimately a government that works for all Nigerians. Thank you very much, and we'll continue from here. Yes.
There are a few points you want to raise from the so you have a community, so just take those points then.
Okay. Like we discussed earlier, we have planned that we'll have our papers delivered before reading the communique, which is the norm. However, we have gone through them, and all we're doing here is to see if we can enrich them further. So permit me to share the discussions we have held with members of the panel and the different subjects we have covered. The communique is a fallout of deliberations, papers that our speakers have already churned in. We intend that they will make their presentations here again, and if they have additions, and with the note from the House, we will adopt. But since we have some strange, alternative arrangements, before you go, we'll share this communique with you. So thank you very much. I hope I'm loud and clear. So members of COPDEM and ADC, I may likely ask you a few questions as we, ask for your endorsement as we go through the lines of the communique, so as to make it as authentic as it should be. If you disagree with it, I'll ask, you can say no. If you agree, you please respond appropriately. If there are any additions, we will send them over to you as well, or any corrections to this communique. Thank you. Communique issued at the end of the Middle Belt COPDEM ADC Strategic Conference. Remember, this is a fallout from what we had done in Abuja a week before now. And the lessons are pretty much the same, apart from our emphasis on the Middle Belt and its position. Our speakers will proceed to discuss this, and if there are additions, we'll forward them to you. The Middle Belt COPDEM ADC Strategy Conference held in Jos, Plateau State on Tuesday, the 24th of March, 2026. Leaders, political stakeholders, traditional voices, civil society actors, youth representatives, distinguished members of the press here present, and democratic reform advocates from across the Middle Belt convened in Jos, here, yours truly. Plateau State, on Tuesday, the 24th of March, 2026, for the Middle Belt Strategy Conference of the Coalition for the Protection of Democracy, COPDEM, in collaboration with the African Democratic Congress. The conference was held under the theme, Nigeria at a Crossroads, Building the Winning Coalition for 2027. Participants engaged in deep, frank, and forward-looking deliberations on Nigeria's political trajectory, the strategic importance of the Middle Belt in national elections, and the urgent need for an urgent need to build a credible governing alternative capable of restoring national stability, prosperity, and public trust in leadership. The conference noted the following: 1, electoral mathematics, logical pathway to power. Nigerian elections, national elections in Nigeria are won through broad-based coalition and not regional dominance. The Middle Belt remains a decisive electoral bridge in determining national outcomes. A strategic alignment between the Middle Belt and Southern Nigeria presents the most viable pathway to electoral success. Members of COPDEM, do we agree with that position? Yes. Once again, do we agree with that position? COPDEM ADC. Thank you. 2, messaging and narrative, fairness, inclusion, and national acceptance. Nigerians strongly identify with political arrangements that reflect fairness, justice, and inclusion. Public trust increases when leadership reflects a sense of belonging for all regions. The principle of balance in leadership remains central to national cohesion. Ladies and gentlemen of the conference, do you agree with this position? Yes. 3, thank you. Candidate selection strategy. Electability is tied to national acceptability and intentional demonstration of fairness. Leadership that unites regions enhances legitimacy and stability in governance. Disregarding expectations of inclusion often leads to drastically reduced electoral support. Ladies and gentlemen, do we agree with this as conditions for candidate selection within a party? Yes. Do we agree? Okay, thank you. Because if you don't, you are free to object as the discussion continues. 4, party structure reforms, which is leaning on party credibility and internal balance. The conference equally agreed that a party that seeks to govern must reflect equity and inclusiveness in its decision. Simply put, internal justice strengthens external credibility. A national platform must demonstrate balance at the highest level of leadership selection. Members of the conference, do you agree with this position as our strategic resolution? Are you sure? Thank you. Strategic role of the Middle Belt. A middle belt that has evolved into a conscious, strategic, and decisive political bloc. Its strength lies not only in contesting power, but in proactively shaping coalition direction. Strategic alliance offers the middle belt greater national influence than isolated ambition. Do we agree with that position? Thank you. Finally, fairness as a strategic imperative. Speakers and participants at the conference, the COPDEM ABC 2026 Middle Belt Conference unanimously also agreed. Nigeria's democratic stability has been sustained by the principle of balance in leadership distribution. The expectation of North-South rotation remains deeply embedded in voter consciousness. In every executive position, zoning is respected from the ward, local government chairmen, state governors across the country. Therefore, we stand with the position that this should continue to the national level. Political reforms that respect this balance enjoy broader national acceptance. Is this our position, ladies and gentlemen? Is this our position, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you. Our resolution. After extensive deliberations, the conference resolves as follows: that the COPDEM ADC Middle Belt Strategic Conference will continue to engage in Nigeria's political process as a conscious, strategic, and decisive political bloc committed to fairness, inclusion, and national unity. That the strength of the Middle Belt lies in its ability to shape and stabilize national political outcomes through strategic alliances. And that in exercising responsible and strategic leadership, the Middle Belt will prioritize coalition building over sectional contestation in the 2027 presidential election. Most importantly, that in line with Nigeria's established political culture of balance, inclusion, and national cohesion, and in order to build a credible and winning coalition, the presidential ticket of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, should be zoned to southern Nigeria. Are these our resolutions?
Yes.
Are these our resolutions, Steve?
Yes.
Thank you. And the declaration following that resolution, the conference declares as follows: the Middle Belt will not seek to lead from the front in 2027. We don't think we are going to present any political presidential candidate. It will lead from the center by shaping a fair, inclusive, and winning coalition for Nigeria. The Middle Belt is no longer a silent partner in Nigeria's politics. It is a decisive force. It is a voice, and its voice will shape the outcome of the 2027 general elections by and escalating its role as a swing state in Nigeria's emerging democracy. Nigeria will not be rescued by politics as usual. It will be rebuilt by a coalition founded on fairness, inclusion, and national balance. Therefore, our resolve to support a candidate from the southern part of Nigeria is non-negotiable. The COPDEM ADC Middle Belt Strategy Conference reaffirms its commitment to the protection of democracy, the promotion of good governance, and the building of a broad, inclusive, and reform-driven political coalition capable of winning power and governing effectively in 2027. Participants called on all democratic stakeholders, political actors, and citizens to embrace the principles of fairness, inclusion, strategic cooperation, and national unity as the foundation of Nigeria's next phase of political leadership. May God bless the Middle Belt. God bless the Coalition for the Protection of Democracy. God bless ADC, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
I want to ask you, sir.
Yes.
You said you are not a political party.
Yes.
You are a coalition.
Yes.
So I want to know what's the relationship between COPDEM and ADC, because I know ADC is a political party.
Yes, that's a very interesting question. COPDEM is a political action group modeled after the American fashion of the PAC. What COPDEM does is advocacy. And we want to see Nigeria change for the best of all. But while we started in 2023, we felt that our democracy was stolen. The mandate of the people was hijacked. So there was nothing to advocate for if the democracy is not in place. Secondly, from 2023, before the end of that year, Nigeria was fast drifting into a one-party state, fueled by insecurity that the government has every potential and capacity to fight, as well as inflation to bastard heights. Members of opposition party were seen moving into the current ruling party. They were just dropping there. Today, we have over 30 states and their governors in one party. Nigeria is moving into a one-party state. But COPDEM saw that earlier on, right from 2024. We began scouting for an alternative. We have had several press briefings and outings here, pushing to come together and form a united force. That way they would have a better chance. Let's face the fact, in 2023, Tinubu and the current National Assembly were not fully in power, and they were able to do what they did. What will happen today with power? Nothing outside the coalition can give Nigeria a chance of democracy as it is practiced. So what COPDEM did was, we looked around, identified ADC. We had moved around, met other coalition leaders, were consulted with the grassroots, and then encouraged the coalition leaders to move into ADC. We didn't stop there. ADC was very active, but dormant in a lot of states. But because of their posture, their reception, and their principles, COPDEM decided to pitch the tent with them. We now developed the Directorate for Mobilization for the ADC. We dissolved the political arm of COPDEM and subsumed into the ADC. We mobilized and create accessibility across the nation in every state under the Directorate for Mobilization, Civil Societies and Progressive Engagements of the African Development Congress. That was starting from January 2025, before even the coalition was consummated in July of the same year. So we are not a political party, we are a political action group. And we're not just an action group in name. We have to be proactive and push for a coalition and see that the coalition grows. The coalition is our baby. So we want to see it grow and succeed so that at least Nigerians will have an alternative. I don't know if I've answered your question, sir. Yes.
ADC. Are you aligning with ADC?
I think, okay, let me make a short sentence. As a political action group, there was no solid opposition. we aligned with ADC and made it the bed of the coalition. And we also mobilized so that the coalition will stay there, even reaching consultations with other prominent political figures in the country to advise them to form the coalition in ADC. So after that is done, we step out and continue our activities. COPDEM is not stopping its real advocacy. We are on, voter education and others. But the injury for the hour, the one where they bought the pepper soup, is for actually make sure that we have a functional opposition and for them to take right decisions in following and respecting the north-south rotation, not to obstruct the pendulum, is something we are very passionate about. And that's why we're here today. Yes, please, any question?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. My name is Andrew Ajija. I write for The Voice.
The Voice, okay.
Sir, I want to know, since your coalition is rooting for the South, are you rooting for a particular candidate? And if there is that person, see.
ADC is a party that has just come together put together the coalition. There's a lot of pressure on ADC. We trust the judgment of the leaders of ADC to do what is right. They themselves, they know if they have a particular candidate or candidates that pull the crowd. So we would not want to add any additional pressure. But for us, let it go to the South. And we know and hope that they will do the right thing and put their best foot forward. Is that our position?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. You sure? You want to answer the question? Okay. Oh, thank you so much. So we have a small attendance. If you don't mind, they have done that one fully. Beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. It's a pleasure seeing, all colleagues from the media. Thank you so much. So, yeah. Okay. Name and signature. No problem.
At this point, we are coming to the end of the press conference where the COPDEM groups have met with the Middle Belt Forum to issue their statements on their position as regards the 2027 presidential election, as well as advocating that the presidential ticket be zoned to the South in order to enable the Southern counterparts to be able to complete their 8 years tenure as the zoning formula that have been in practice for over the years. So you could see the national chairman of COPDEM well represented in the media chat where he championed the position of the Middle Belt Forum in that press conference, Prince Wampan Jr. So please, thank you for keeping it real and being part of the program until this point. God bless you as you watch, and remember to subscribe to COPDEM Media TV to continue to stay glued to updates, especially this era of political engagements across board. We'll be bringing you events and programs live from any part of the country as they come up. Thank you.
I will never single today. I'm so today. What it takes to pull it down. I'll do it till the sun goes down. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I'll tell you what you wanna hear. My sunglasses on my left hand. It's now the right time. Yeah. Never see what's happening now. I don't know deep down. I'm torn. I've heard that you feeling so on the way to make me tiptoe, but I'm afraid now. I do believe
Gabatarwa ya kunsa.
To barka. Da farko dai bayanin gaba ɗaya Hausa na bai nuna ba mun daɗe ba mu Hausa. So gaba ɗaya dai mutanen members namu na COPDEM da na ADC sun duba abubuwan da ke tafiye game da takarar shugaban kasa muna duba 2027 kenan ba. And kafin yau mun karanci abubuwan da suke tafiya fannin siyasa da kuma shugabancin ƙasa da yawa ba su tafiya kan da ya kamata. Sun shiga da zaƙin baki, za a ba da power, za a ba da security, za a yi mai da mai, har yau ba mu gani ba, gafara, amma ba mu ga kaho ba. So kuma bayan haka sai ya zama kaman sun nima gwamnatin da ke mulki sun nima kan da dai za su wargaje sauran political parties ɗin. Sun shigo cikinsu sun ɗan dama lissafi. To zancen da muke ji kenan. To ya zama mun koma kamar mun zama one party state, which is kamar dictatorship. Mulki na mutum ɗaya irin na gargajiya amma kuma shugaba na ƙasa gaba ɗaya, babbar ƙasa kamar Nigeria. So mun ga wannan tafiyan ba zai yi ba, ya kamata dole ne mu yi abin da ya kamata a yi. So COPDEM ta haɗa kai da ƙungiyoyi daban-daban da muka forming COPDEM, sai muka duba ya kamata mu ƙarfafa opposition party su haɗa kai a ɗaya. Domin in an samu an haɗa kai, in ba tare da haɗa kai ba za a iya a rawan a zo a gani 2027 ba. Da idan Allah kuma sun ji kuke-kuken waɗansu mun same su delegation, waɗansu mun tura wa sako. To albishirinmu shine by July, mu COPDEM, by January mu COPDEM mun signing yarjejeniya da ADC mu karfafa ta mu farfada da ita domin kamar ta yi dan suma ne a states. So in every state COPDEM we mobilization. So and mun zo kuma mun sake ci gaba da coalition din ya shiga, muna so mu daga murya ce ya kamata aya abin da ya kamata. So sorry, kafin deviating gaba ɗaya daga welcoming address din, ita sakon marabta ta nuna ƙarfin middle belt a cikin the position da middle belt ke ɗauka a cikin Nigeria gabaki ɗaya. And tun ba yau ba mun zama masu ɗaukan jaka, muna taimako, rike ƙaho suna tatsa. So mun kai lokacin da ya kamata mu tsaya dam, sannan kuma mu ɗaga muryarmu a cikin jigajigen siyasa na Nigeria. Tafiyan nan ba za a yi shi mutum ɗaya ba, dole a yi shi kamar tsintsiya. So mun ba da political strength population na middle belt na da registered voters fiye da miliyan 20. And yawancinsu suna so su ga an yi canji a Nigeria. So a madadinsu ne muke wannan conference ɗin a yau. A takaice muna so mu faɗa ma jama'a da su political parties cewa COPDEM, ADC, Middle Belt mun zo mu haɗu mu tattauna akan ababen da ke cima Najeriya tuwo a kwarya. Yes, that's inda muka tsaya kenan before we now kafin muka shigo communicate.
Za mu so mu ji menene saƙonku na ƙarshe, wato matattarin saƙon da kuka daidaito akan shi a ƙarshen taron naku.
Okay. Na gani kafin mu tashi za ku bani aron Hausanka kaɗan. Where is that my communique so that ɗan duba? Okay, ya juye upside down. Aha. In bi su ɗan daki-daki su zama mu ɗan reminder. So a communique ɗin, wato kafin mu zo nan na zaman Middle Belt Nigeria ko North Central, mun yi wani zama irin wagga a Abuja. So ƙarin maganganun ko kan maganganun ɗaya ne. Sannan mun yi tattaunawa a gizo online. Mun samu kuma papers daga speakers from Middle Belt. Suna nan dai za mu ci gaba da wannan presentation din. Domin jama'a da suna nan su ji su kuma amince. In akwai gyaran ma da za a yi ko ƙari za mu sake turo mu. Amma based on papers da muka samu, hankalinmu ya zo go ɗaya. Mun tattauna akan messaging. Okay, the first one was number 1, electoral mathematics. Wato lissafi na ainihi a cikin siyasa. Kuma a cikin lissafin mun duba irin idan za a yi tafiya ya kamata a samu jama'a, don ba jama'a babu siyasa. So ya kamata a duba a tafi da kowa. Na biyu, messaging and narrative. Shi ma mun tattauna mun ga cewa ya kamata wurare ko gabobin Najeriya da ba su taba samu sun haifar da shugaban kasa ba, a yi kan da za a ba su zarafi. Su ma su dan cire dan takara saboda tafiyan ya yi daidai, ya zama an yi ma kowa daidai. Sannan akwai candidacy selection. Wannan mun tattauna mun ga ya kamata idan za a yi zaben shugaban kasa, ko da ba ADC ba, ko da wani party ne, ya kamata su duba shugabannin da za su haɗa kan jama'a. A sake kuma mun lura a siyasun da suka wuce, duk waɗanda political party da ba su bi zoning na north south ɗin ba, most times ba su taba ci ba. Sai waɗanda sun tsaya a kan zoning ɗin nan, a je arewa a koma kudu kenan, ko kudu arewa. So kudu sun riga sun yi shekaru 4, mena hanzari a bar kudu su karasa, sannan a dawo da shi arewa. Then we have party structure reforms. A takaice ababen da muka duba shine ya kamata kowace party ta yi abin da ya kamata wa Nigeria. Mu kuma muna fuskantar sakonmu directly zuwa party ADC domin ita ce coalition din ta hada. And finally, tsayawanmu a kai wato tankam, mun nace as mutanen Middle Belt da babban murya mu ce ma ADC party mu da coalition ka ta yi wata ta zo nan ɗin presidential ticket zuwa south, so that a ba su dama, zuwa kudu south kenan ba, so that a ba su dama tafiya ta yi kyau. Su ma za su yi murmushi. In ka lura ma an duba su registration, yawan mu daga kudu ba su da marmarin siyasa. Sun kuma su ne ba a yi tare da su. Ina amfanin a ji a samu PVC, ina amfanin a zo ana shigan party, bata lokaci ne, bata kuɗi ne, amma akwai votes da yawa a gurin. So idan ADC za ta ji kukanmu ta bi kuma shawaran a zonin wannan zuwa kudu, domin mu farfado da voters da suke bacci. Na gode. Ban san ko akwai shugaban Middle Belt
Zaki fada mana sunanki da matsayi a wannan kafin ki kara fa za ki kara. Thank you.
Daddy Jetron Akun, ni ce chairman na Middle Belt na COPDEM. Abin da nake son faɗa a nan shine ina neman kara magana akan abin da ya sa muka ce ya kamata shi wannan siyasa na mai zuwa nan ya zama na cewa shugaban kaza ya zo daga kudu. Dalili shine arewa sun yi, arewa kuma sun kuma yi, arewa kuma suka sake yi, sai haka kuma a yammacin Najeriya, das yan uwanmu Yarbawa kenan. To in ka duba da kyau, har yanzu ba mu samu a cikin demokradiyya din nan ba, har yanzu ba mu riga mun samu mutane daga kudu ba. To inda har muna so mu zama gaba ɗaya, Najeriya nan ta ce ɗaya ce, mu ma mu ba su dama. So yau mu da mun sai akan cewa a ba su dama su ma su yi mu ma mu gan takin su. In sun ce ba mu iya ba mu ma bari mu gan takin su ko su iya ko ba su iya ba. To amma in mun saya muna juye kullum rawan iri ɗaya ne kagan ba zai yi ba. So yau muna so a ba ma kudu mu ma mu gan takun su. Za su yi fiye da mu duk wurin da sun iya rike wannan kasan da kyau shi za mu rike. Yanzu kowa ya gan wahala da muke sha. Yau ɗin nan ya kamata a ce cikin gidan nan ya cika fiye da haka. Kun san dalilin da yasa duk mutane da muka kira ba su iya fitowa ba? In ka fita yanzu Jos ta bushe ka ce ma ba ranar aiki ba ne. Dalilin kuwa shine wannan matsalar mai da ake fama da shi. To tambaya na kullum shine ba mu da mai a Najeriya ne? Ke ba ma wasu kasashen mai. Amma yau ɗin nan Najeriya ta kasa samun mai inda a ce me ake kira masarar mai namu duk suna aiki a ce na Kaduna yana aiki na Port Harcourt da na Calabar duk suna aiki da na Lagos ba za mu samu kanmu a halin da muka samu kanmu na ba amma don muna kawo mai kullum muna shigo da mai daga waje mu da kayan mu kuma sai mu ba ma wasu sai sun yi abin da sun ga dama su ba mu so yanzu muna so mu gwada gun da su mai din nan yake fitowa shine gudu mu ma mu ba su dama na gode. Thank you, sir.
I need to introduce myself.
I would say introductions.
Like when you newspaper. Unity FM. Okay. That's great. That's what I need about. Calling now with that. So, okay, can't I need press this now? Okay. Is Yoshini? Okay. Is that to the one that I think? Okay. Okay, will I need this one? Or is it okay? Since you are going online. Yes, sorry, Dr. Moses, thank you. Okay, which microphone? This one. You just connect from there. Okay, yes, Dr. Moses Onongo, are you still there? Ladies and gentlemen, we are proceeding with our presentation. And if we have anything apart from what we have received and analyzed online that we had our virtual meeting, if anything comes up, especially from your contributions, we will still add to the communique and update it and send to the various media outfits. So, Dr. Moses, are you available? Dr. Moses Onongo is a COPDEM chairman for Benue State. He was supposed to be on his way, but the normal issue, our roads are very insecure. And also the roads are very rough. Adding insult to injury, the prices have skyrocketed, especially this year. So can we hear him from there? Are you connecting any mic or if he's ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
So while we wait for Dr. Moses to connect, we'll sincerely welcome our colleagues who are online, our Board of Trustees, and thank them for all their efforts. COPDEM in diaspora and the various national committees want to sincerely appreciate your efforts towards making these programs successful. So we are continuing into the deliberation. Let us hear the logic behind our position, which I think it is what should be done. Is it almost ready?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm ready. Dr. Moses Nongo, please, you're most welcome. He is delivering our first paper for today from the sub-theme. It is Nigeria on building a workable coalition. So over to you, Dr. Moses.
Okay, thank you very much.
So is there a way we could hear him here? Okay.
Can you hear me from there?
Please carry on, doctor.
All right. It's a pleasure to be in this conference, and to make my presentation virtually. I would have loved to be with you in that.
We can't hear you. You have an
Yes, I have
is a
earpiece.
phone connected?
I have earpiece.
You can hear him loud and clear.
Already
Please
sent.
go on.
Okay.
Go on, please.
All right, good. Due process, thank you. I would have loved to be.
Or alternatively, Dr. Moses, if you want, you can make a direct call. Is that possible, or are you connecting the Zoom?
Yes, I
Okay.
prefer Zoom. I prefer Zoom.
Okay.
I really appreciate
because
it.
we can't hear you. So. Okay. So.
Dr. Moses, please go on.
Okay. Okay, Dr. Moses Anongo, they can hear you while our technicians work on their sound. From here, I guess we will call on Pastor Paul Isaac, the COPDEM State Chairman for Nasarawa State, to make his own brief presentation while we await for the to be connected. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I want to sincerely appreciate the leadership of COPDEM and Middle Belt, including the ADC. My name's Pastor Isaac from COPDEM Chairman. I will not make this as a presentation. What I'm here to do is to challenge the both of us. I guess when you hear a language, they say Nigeria in a crossroad. Literally, Nigeria is like a patient that is in intensive care unit that requires immediate rescue from a physician. That is the challenge all of us here are facing. I and you need to tell ourselves the truth. The era of deception, I think, is over. Reality.com is what we're experiencing, everybody. I can remember when from Nasarawa State, I can use 1,000 down to Plateau State. But today, just from the street of my house, I bought a car. It brought me, thank God, the man is going to Farigada exit that side. I paid 6,000. You can imagine how the transportation has skyrocketed. So that alone is telling you that we are in a flashpoint, which the both of us here have a responsibility to ask ourselves, are we ready for this new change that we desire to see? And secondly, what I will tell us here, we must redefine who we are. If we've been playing that politics of deception, it's time to tell ourselves the truth. Because I see no reason that a system that have over 95% population, people that are manipulating this country, they are not up to anything. Is it because we are too comfortable with sentiment, or we are comfortable with deception, or we are comfortable with ethnicity or religion, that we're seeing this danger that is coming, and it's close to even consume us? Because a situation whereby you cannot help yourself, who do you think you can help? I'm talking to us here. I'm just trying to stir up something from our spirit to tell us that we have that what it takes to define the process of democracy in this country. Except if we don't want to do that. I remember there's a statement Rotimi Amechi said one time. He said when they decide to form a coalition, they will not joking. That is why Amechi said if they didn't give them to win, form a parallel government. That is a bold step. Talking to a system that is literally in leadership, telling them if they win and they refuse to give them, they will form a parallel government. I think if truly we want to form a coalition, we need to define the coalition. We need to be sincere to ourselves. We need to tell ourselves that whatever that is bringing to redefine this country. I've said it, Nigeria is like a baby that is in intensive care unit that requires a professional doctor to attend to that child. Are you talking about the terrible rules we have? Are you talking about the insecurity that you can't sleep with your eyes closed, and that has not sparked something from your spirit to tell you that this change, we must all come collectively and agree that we need a new thing. A new thing is that a leader that sincerely moves the development of this country, that is willing, his strength and his strategy. That is what we need. I'm not here to present a paper. I'm here to challenge the both of us. That we are more than enough to transform this country. Let me draw us back to 2023. There was a unified voice in Nasarawa State during the 2023 general election, presidential election. It is Nasarawa State that has no stakeholder in the legal parts. And said enough. We must tell ourselves the truth. If truly we want to define a coalition that will be, we must tell ourselves the truth. Because truth is a universal concept. It's only lie that has to end. The truth is more than universal. So we must tell ourselves, if truly we want change, we want to continue to remain into that life of deception. You are not comfortable, but you pretend that you are comfortable. That is the life we live. It's me, I refuse to live that life. I decide to say this country can be a new country that I and you desire to see. And I want to be part of that driving force that will bring a new change. So I want us, Malam Bahaushe ya ce in ka je gona kai kadai akwai irin noman da zaka amma kun yi gaya. Inda yake biya yi gaya yana yin shi daga zuciyar shi. They are talking about coalition. Coalition is about people who agree to come together, not with deception, not with sentiment, not with if I don't get this thing, I will not. You see, that is the problem we're having. We must offer a sincere decision that will take this country back from the hands of these people that are refusing to make things work. And we are telling that things are working. ABC have offered the platform. We must deploy our strategy. We must come together. We must have a unified voice. If you say you are an independent person, you should be the original. Not that somebody will just come with a deceptive word and he will divert your attention. And if somebody has diverted your attention, let me tell you, the effect is very, very dangerous. You must have a ownership. There are aspects that are also forgotten, that is neglected in the era of politics. There are artisans that nobody identified them, and they are a very big point. There are very big touching points that we are supposed to begin to engage them, to find the purpose of making the table to them, because we must define it. Do we want this system to continue? We want a change? Do we want to see transformation, or we remain in this same spirit of, I don't know how to put it. It's so that we are not comfortable with the life we are living. We are just living where we are not existing. As I've said, I'm not presenting a problem. I want to challenge our spirit. I want to spark up something in us. We should redefine our persons. We should tell ourselves that we have an identity of transformation. We want to transform the system. And it is possible. Election is not won with money. It's won with strategy. Money is a security. If you have strategy, you can defeat somebody that has money. It happens in my state. When a Senate candidate is contesting an election, he goes to every vote. So he dropped 20 billion, 50 billion. Yeah, that's 12 blessed member. It's not happening. He's a sitting senator, but the person investing with him has more money than him. But he was able to defeat him. He was reaching out to the grassroots. This man will come with money transform electrification, construction for the people. So people see yes, and not the movie that will finish and they will remain that same if they are living. So we are meeting answer. So this is the strategy we must begin to do. We must identify with people of our like minds, begin to speak transformation to them, begin to tell them that they have that capacity to transform this country. Campaign door to door is very good. Registration now. Let's take advantage of it. Thank God the Electoral Act has given us that window of opportunity that there is a direct primaries now. Direct primaries offer the best opportunity for Nigerians to choose a leader. So it's I and you now, if we can agree to continue this e-registration, give whoever that will desire to become our presidential candidate advantage of numerical strength. I want to tell you, with money, he will defeat anybody standing with him. So we must tell ourselves the truth and move forward. The reason why we are where we are is we have not tell ourselves the truth. That is why we are still where we are. But I tell us today, if we all agree from here, the political revolution has started. And this number can come in, bring change. So let's define a new Nigeria in our heart as we leave this place and begin to speak it to our loved ones, our families, our friends. Thank you. I stop here. I am 100% in support of zoning because I've never seen a candidate that refused zoning that has won election in Nigeria. Even in Nasarawa State presently now, that is the battle. By right, every zone has a zoning. Nasarawa North was the last. Let them start. So there is a serious, Western zone are saying is their time. Southern zone is saying is their time. Nasarawa North is saying we are just finished. We want to start. It's like a contribution. So if the political arrangement understand the terms contribution, so we also must understand that. May I believe in zoning? I'm not saying I believe that power should remain in sound. That is my take and my stand. Anywhere I go, I say it. Because if you refuse to go with zoning, let me tell you, anytime you see agitation, even in the family, is because the father has taken side. But if he's balanced in his decision, nobody will accuse him, even if things go wrong. ADC should see this call and stand with this call, and that power should remain in the South. That is my take. Thank you.
That has been Pastor Paul Isaac, the COPDEM chairman for Nasarawa State. Moses Anongo has been waiting. Is he? Okay. Are we able to reach him? Then we come back to our middle belt chair, the host to.
Can you hear me, the national chairman?
Beautiful to hear your voice, Doctor.
Okay.
All right.
Fine.
Address the people.
All right. I would have loved to be physically. I would have loved to be in Plateau State to make this presentation physically and then interact with my people, the Middle Belt leaders and lovers of true democracy. However, circumstances could not permit me. My presentation here is a kind of show of love for what COPDEM is doing and the agitation for zoning, which I am equally in support of. I would love to state my position first so that everybody in this hall will hear me clear, and then the position of the Middle Belt. As far as zoning is concerned, and it is very expedient for us to know why we are in this conference. The coalition that gave birth to ADC did not start today. Coalition politics started a long time ago. If I am to give a brief background of coalition, I would say that the aftermath of 1959 general elections necessitated the formation of coalition politics in Nigeria. The result of the House of Representatives shows that no party at that time won absolute majority. And so there was need for NPC and NCNC to come together to form a coalition government. And that government was sworn in 1960 when Nigeria got independent. However, by 1966, when Nzegu led the first coup in Nigeria, coalition government ended abruptly until after 13 years of this military interregnum, the formation of NPN, UPN, PRP, NPP, and GNPP, as well as NAP, formed another coalition in this country. And at this time, Obafemi Awolowo and the NCNC, which was led by Zikiwe, and the leader of Nepal, Aminu Kanu, came together to birth a new coalition. So as the NPN grew into a formidable political force, opposition parties attempted to unite against it. And so the UPN, NPN, and PRP formed a PPA, which was a Progressive People's Alliance. But internal discord could not permit this coalition to fertilize. The result was a crushing defeat in 1983, with the NPN securing the landslide victory, winning the presidential election and the majority of seats in the House of Assembly and the National Assembly, and the governorship seat. In the Third Republic, you will all agree with me that because the Third Republic was basically a two-party system, which I call the two-party model, founded the government. And at this time, Brian Babangida wanted to forestall an adversarial effect of ethnic politics in Nigeria. And so he adopted the National Republican Convention and the Social Democratic Party. The creation of this party, observed by some scholars, was elitist in nature, with an attempt to make them mass-based. However, the presidential election that birthed the new genuine presidential result could not materialize because Babangida at this time truncated the idea of that coalition government that would have allowed Abiola to rule this country according to the wishes of the masses. And so the Third Republic coalition agenda equally failed. However, party alliances and coalition in Nigeria continued. And the trend of party coalition into the Fourth Republic gave birth to Action Democracy and the APP, which came together to dominate PDP in the presidential election. But still, there was a resounding victory against these coalition parties. And leading up to 2011, you will all agree that the fledgling Congress for Progressive Change, CPC, led by our late General Muhammadu Buhari, to merge with ACN, which then was led by the current president of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Yet negotiation at this time collapsed and so coalition failed. It is important also to note that the defeat of the alliance signaled the beginning of a dominant party system characterized by the ascendancy and dominance of the PDP. What COPDEM is trying to avoid today was the same thing that transpires in 1999. And today, APC, as you all know, is trying to dominate the entire political scene in this country. And so it's becoming so difficult to come to terms. But something happened very unusual in 2015, even though PDP tried to dominate the political scene. In 2015, an alliance between the CPC and the ACN again hit the dominant nature of the PDP. And the result was that 16 years of PDP dominance came to an end. What I would say, APC has just ruled for, I think, a period of 3 years plus now. And I tell you that if PDP that ruled for 16 years was overthrown through coalition, APC that is just 3 years and a half today will be overthrown through a coalition. And so I've taken time to give this little background to give us hope that what COPDEM is trying to avoid actually took place some years back, and we would definitely overcome the dominance of APC. Our fear, my fear, and the fears of others is the use of judiciary to quench the voice of the opposition party. As you can see today, about 30 governors in this federation decided to pitch tent with the ruling party. As some decided to do it because they have nowhere to go. And because if they move to any other political party, EFCC will be allowed to witch hunt them. And so let us keep our hope alive. This coalition has come to stay. And what COPDEM is doing is to strengthen this coalition agenda by giving it life, allowing it to breathe. And by doing so, we cannot allow the coalition to breathe without giving it a focus. The coalition, which is anchored by the Action Democratic Congress, African Democratic Congress, sorry, ADC, is very, very important and strategic at this moment. But then while we give it a direction, we must streamline the excesses of some political gladiators who believe that the coalition is best in their favor, and because their political tendencies came in with a good number of people, and so they will take advantage of this coalition to dribble the agenda of zoning. If anyone hear about zoning, especially in a gathering like this, people begin to think zoning has started today. But I think zoning started for a very long time. And I have tried my best to see that justice is done in today's presentation. About on the zoom editor, as if we will editor also. Well, at least.
Dr. Moses, you're done.
What? No.
I don't. Okay. Go on.
I was finding it difficult. I thought maybe my connection is off.
No. It's on. Please go on.
Okay. No, I was saying that the idea of zoning, which COPDEM is emphasizing, and which the Middle Belt Conference today is preaching very strongly, does not begin today. Zoning started as far back as 1978. And if you agree with me, which I have taken little time to give a little background of zoning, the practice of rotating the office of the presidency began in 1979 during the Second Republic. While there were earlier informal regional consideration, the modern concept of zoning was first officially introduced into Nigerian politics by the National Party of Nigeria. And so between 1979 and 1983, the NPN adopted full-scale zoning. That is why the presidency, then Shehu Shagari, adopted Alex Ekweme from the South. And so between 1994 to 1995, during the Abacha regime, the Internal Constitutional Conference, the National Constitutional Conference, brought about former Vice President Alex Ekweme to propose dividing Nigeria into 6 geopolitical zones. That idea was not in error. It was to bring about inclusion, to avoid one particular zone or region dominating the presidency, and also to avoid some zone being excluded from leadership. And so rotational presidency became a kind of a law in 1999 when PDP formally internalized the system into the constitution of the party. And so from 1999 till date, following the annulment of 1993 election, a gentleman's agreement was reached. And today, COPDEM is re-emphasizing that agreement that was reached after the annulment of 1993 election. And so the Middle Belt Conference is re-emphasizing the idea of zoning and being a stakeholder in the Middle Belt politics and coming from the chief extraction that equally believe in fairness and justice. We are standing firm to defend the position that the presidency in 2027 should be based strictly on this zoning arrangement. And so the coalition which ADC is leading should not bifurcate the idea and interest of zoning, but it should embrace it, because discarding the idea of zoning may lead ADC to even lose the election in less than 24 hours from the beginning of the election. That means if ADC adopts zoning and zone the presidential seat to the south, the advantage is that the north, which is equally eyeing the presidency, will wait for the south to complete the 8-year tenure which Constitution has allowed for one region to rule. And so once the south produce a presidency, a presidential candidate, it is left for that candidate to relate with the northern political gladiators. And once that assimilation is done properly, Tinubu, who is also from the south, will now have to divide the vote with the candidate of the south. And if there is a proper alignment in the north, then the vote from the north added to the divided vote in the south will make the candidate of ADC to win the election hands down. And so Middle Belt is not only in support of the zoning, but some certain precedents laid before now that believe that power should rotate between two zones, the north and the south, already emphasized that. And we are coming here in this conference to reaffirm that position that was reached since 1979, which was re-echoed in 1999 and adopted in the PDP constitution, which also form part of the coalition in ADC today. Remember, PDP is fully in support of the coalition and is also part of partnering with the ADC coalition. That is why you see Alhaji Abubakar Atiku also jostling for the presidential slot. But I think it's the time we respect what will bridge peace in this country, rather than embrace what will bring discord. The episode that brought about President Jonathan into the Aso Villa as a president should not reoccur itself. It was a mandate given to the North for that particular party for 8 years. So no one should interpret it as if Jonathan interrupted the presidential slots meant for the North, but it was for that particular political party. So it was a completion of his tenure. And so when you want to argue about zoning, someone will bring in the idea that Jonathan interrupted zoning, and so any other political opponent from the North can equally interrupt it. But here we are talking about the situation in our country. Looking at what the ruling party has done to this country, if we decide to de-emphasize zoning, then there is no room we can boast of winning the 2027 election. So for these few reasons, I stand in support of the Middle Belt and the team political gladiators, stakeholders, to support fully the idea of zoning, that the 2027 presidential slot should go to the South. We don't have any interest in any candidates, but we have specific interest in the zoning of the presidency to the South. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to make this virtual presentation.
All right, thank you, Dr. Anongo Moses, all the way from Benue State. He has spoken for the TIB Nation as well as the Middle Belt, being a stakeholder in the Middle Belt region. Prince Palm, are you available? I should go on with my presentation. All right, let me just go on with my presentation. Good afternoon, and thank you viewers out there for watching. We are still live at the Middle Belt COPDEM ADC Conference 2026, where we are spotlighting building a winning coalition come 2027. So mine is to emphasize, of course, wonderful speeches have been made, submissions have been made, and of course, the stand remains the same, that the 2027 ticket of the ADC be zoned to the south. There is no ambiguity in it because the current leadership, president of Nigeria, is from the south with a tenure of just 4 years, coming into completion by the end of his tenure in 2027. And of course, in order not to shortchange other regions, particularly southern region, the emphasis is now put on ensuring that the zoning of the presidency of the ADC is zoned to the south. If you look at the sentiment of the Nigerian voters, when it comes to zoning, it's treated like an inheritance, right? A birthright. Nobody gives out his birthright. Only a fool does that. And in order to avoid falling into the trap of the ruling party that messed up with the lives of Nigerians, it is advised that the ADC listen to the yearnings and the aspiration of the Nigerian people that zoning be respected, so that the South will be able to complete the tenure of the southern region. Then going into 2031, we can now zone it back to the north. And of course, during that time, the Middle Belt will also be looking at producing a vice president. Yes, we have the right to do that, to have that anticipation. So 2027, there's no two ways about it. I stand in support of the Middle Belt Forum and the COPDEM ADC conference, emphasizing the need for zoning, ensuring that the ticket of the ADC is specifically zoned to the south. If you look at the trajectory, the history, the antecedents of the APC in 2014, 2013, there was no ambiguity about it. There was no any primary elections. There was no congresses. There was no any national convention having a discussion on a primary election or anything. It was clear that the masses aligned heavily with the late President Muhammadu Buhari. And it was on that note that even the sitting president aligned appropriately by projecting President Muhammadu Buhari to front the ticket and be the flag bearer of the APC. A situation that saw them had a massive winning at the poll in 2015, defeating the incumbent President Goodluck Jonathan. So you see, it's very clear when a particular political party is seen to respect and follow the voices of the masses, it becomes easy to win. And for those who are probably in the ADC thinking maybe the election ends at the primaries, the answer is no. There is a larger population of Nigerians who are waiting if ADC will do the right thing or not. They remain undecided voters as it stands. They are just waiting to observe what will come out of the ADC decision when it comes to consensus candidate. And of course, we understand the ADC will be holding a NEC meeting tomorrow in Abuja on Wednesday, the 25th of March 2026. So tomorrow they'll be holding that NEC meeting, and we are anticipating a positive outcome from that NEC meeting that will put smile on the faces of Nigerians. So on a final note, I want to appreciate everyone that have joined to make their presentation. Dr. Moses Anongo from Benue State, and of course the national leadership of COPDEM, Prince Wampan Jr., who has made his presentation, and Lady Mrs. Akuns, that's the Middle Belt COPDEM Forum chairperson, also present in Jos, Plateau State. Of course, Pastor Paul Isaac was also physically present at the ongoing convention, and vast majority of COPDEM members in Plateau State and other neighboring Middle Belton states that have attended the conference. So I don't know, Prince Palm, do you still have additional presentation to make. Additional presentation.
Of course, sorry, don't worry. We'll let you know when it is over. Yes, please, let's welcome Ladi Mercy Akomes, the Plateau State COPDEM chairman, as well as the Middle Belt head of the COPDEM organization. The presentation she is going through is that of Dr. Briskila, leader of COPDEM. She couldn't make it. Of course, you know, the normal thing is security. Remember what just happened along the southeast recently. So they are very, very cautious in this axis. So please, a round of applause for Lady Mercy J.
Let me stand on the already established protocol. I'm standing here to present a paper by Dr. Priscilla Elisha, who happened to be our national chair woman leader. According to this paper, the theme of this message said massaging the narrative, massaging the narratives. And she said, distinguished ladies, party members, and fellow Nigerians, I stand before you today to speak on matter that goes to the heart of our unity, our democracy, and our shared future as a nation. As we look ahead to the 2027 elections, the African Democratic Congress, ADC, has a unique opportunity to lead Nigeria in a new direction, one defined by fairness, inclusion, and justice. That opportunity lies in making a clear and courageous decision to zone the 2027 presidential ticket to the Southeast. This is not about politics as usual. It is about doing what is right. For too long, the Southeast has remained on the margins, occupying the highest. Yet, this region has consistently demonstrated resilience, innovation, and commitment to national development. The people of Southeast are not asking for special treatment. They are asking for fairness. Zoning the presidential ticket to the Southeast sends a powerful message that Nigeria belongs to all of us and that every region matters. It tells every young person, every woman, and every citizen that our democracy is not selective, but inclusive. Let me be clear. Zoning does not mean compromising competence. The Southeast is filled with capable men and women who can lead this nation with vision, integrity, and excellence. What zoning ensures is that opportunity is fairly distributed. We must also push for deeper inclusion, ensuring that women and young people from the Southeast are given a fair chance to emerge and lead. The ADC can set a new standard for Nigerian politics, one where unity is not just spoken about, but practiced. Let us, to this moment, let us choose fairness. Let us choose inclusion. Let us zone the 2027 presidential ticket to the Southeast, because when every region is carried along, Nigeria wins. Thank you, Dr. Priscilla Oka for MFSC, COPDEM Chairperson, Women Committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now is an open forum. You are all COPDEM members. If there are questions, COPDEM, ADC, if there are contributions to the topic you want to make, any addition, this is the time that is open for it. Please feel free. Everybody here is equal, and it will be good for us to hear your voices, what you feel. Do we feel we should actually advise ADC to zone the ticket to the south? And what if they don't zone the ticket to the south? What will we do as COPDEM? What will we do as Middle Belt? Any idea?
Thank you, sir. I'm itching to say something here. I don't want to see us repeating what happened in PDP. You see what is happening in PDP? You see how Wike is fighting. If PDP had zoned the presidential ticket, I believe that PDP will not be where it is now, but because it was not zoned. So this is what we are trying to avoid in ADC. We want to see that ADC is inclusive. We want to see that ADC do what is right. We want to see that ADC avoid conflict from all angles. We want to see that ADC represent true Nigerian. We decide to look into this thing critically. We as COPDEM, protection of democracy in Nigeria, we continue to show them why there is reason for them to do what we are asking for. We are not begging on behalf of the Eastern part, no. We are only saying that we should look at it.
I want to subscribe to what she said. Zoning is not a constitutional provision, but I think in terms of equity and fairness, the South deserve this time. I believe it has rotated and rotate. They have not tested this. We've not even feel their style of leadership. Not too hard to ask. That's how should be zoned to start. And for the sake of fairness, this move ADC have done, I think ADC should hear our cry to zone. It's very, very key. PDP is collapsing. You can imagine a very big PDP today is struggling. If they refuse to hear the voice, they say the voice of the people is the voice of God. If they felt maybe we don't have what it takes, demand for this, then their own way, you should know what can happen. And it will cost them dearly. So I feel it's very important. They should know the cry of people. They should zoom out to the south. It's not difficult. It's not difficult. If they zoom to the south, then the descendants emerge from the south without which in all progressive Congress. I think it's not difficult. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pastor Paul.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, Mr. Chairman. Just like I've earlier introduced myself, my name is Joseph Gideon Manja. Presently, I'm the COPDEM Chairman, Rion Local Government. I want to use this opportunity to appreciate this platform for giving me the opportunity to learn and continue to learning through the platform of COPDEM. my capacity as a chairman of COPDEM area of local government, we have done a lot of sensitization and advocacy in terms of good governance due to the vision and mission of COPDEM. For some of us who are not familiar with COPDEM is a platform for democracy in Nigeria. These are some of the antecedents we were able to do in our local government to be able to allow to know leadership and it's in our various locality. It has been a system in this country whereby you discover at a position of a candidate or godfatherism, whereby you discover immediately when a person has been elected in a political platform, you discover the godfathers will be there something from the particular area of the local government. Those are some of the sensitizations we're able to give out to our people, most especially the youth and the women. Let's participate in leadership. We cannot be sitting down on the side and be watching, keep them quiet, involve ourselves politically by getting our votes to be counted. You will discover the youth in our locality, there will be unclear attitudes. The election will be going on, they will be saying even if we vote, our vote will not be counted. So those are some of the sensitization and advocacy we are able to do in our various local government. Secondly, I want to talk about the issue of the zoning system. Sincerely speaking, most of our leaders today are being enjoying the issue of zoning. That's just the truth about it. Even our president, as a result of zoning, he was able to be in that position. So first, most of the political positions have been zoning, most of them have enjoyed through the aspect of zoning. So in this scenario whereby we are agitating and anticipating this zone should go to the south, I think it's a fair play for the Nigerians. We have competent people in various places. It is not only another part of the country that have the competent people. We have the saddle or responsibility of taking care of this country. It is our prayer that our voice will be heard and this country will be zoned this a particular zoning to the south. That is our pledge. Contesting for the position of the chairman in my local government, which happens to be Rio local government. The local government is a gateway in the states. And even as much as we are sensitizing our people for participation in politics, we discover that, in fact, it's something that we have an person who has been in that seat. So I find it very interesting to join the ANC to in this first covenant, which is coming by the special grace of God, September. Due to some of the issues we've been having concerning the elongation of the term from the courts, in which I'm speaking on the chairman have been trying to contest for the seat. Honestly, we have been doing this election has been as caricatured due to the election of the dissipating of that civil society which has been happening. It is not in the constitution of this federal government. Let the civil society be able to help us and speak out. These are the issues whereby the nation, the House of Assembly, they sat down and I've talked about it, and it has been elongated. It is our prayer that the civil society should be able to do something about this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, prospective chairman of the government. Well, And if zoning is not in the constitution, at least it's almost non-constitutional, but why should we insist on it? These are the last comments we'll take. If you want to contribute to the discussion, then we wrap up because our time is up. Yes, please. Just after.
Right. Okay, Rampam National Chairman, let me just make.
Please permit me to be on my feet. And I want to apologize for my voice. I have some cold and catarrh. My name is Kutu Julius Musa, the secretary at State COPDEM. If the zone is made possible, just to chip in from previous speakers. We are used to this word. We are Nigeria. We are Nigeria is a word too bad. It's often said, most especially by government. We will ask ourselves questions truly, if we are to answer truly. Nigeria is constituted of the north, south, east, and west. Who has the southeast done to this country? If we are to talk about equity, fairness, and justice, I don't think they have been fair to them. They have been so marginalized. And if you look at their economic input in this country, so this thing is coming very timely. This conference is coming very timely. I want to use this opportunity to thank the leadership of COPDEM, actually trying to sensitize people. This issue is an issue of it to strengthen this country in unity and purpose. So I think the second issue of the fan out, like we have aspirants from the fan out indicating interest as far as ADC 2027 presidential election is concerned. We just pray that ADC at the apex will be able to meet equally and that I hear the general process give opportunity to the southeast at least. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. As a Plateau State COPDEM secretary. Yes, is it better if the person comes over here for better picture? What do you think? Yes. Yeah, you can step to the front and.
My name is.
So that we can see your fine face. Hey, very well.
My name is Daniel Chikodimore.
Yes.
I am an ADC member and also an Village Boys movement. I want to appreciate the national chairman and Deacon, our COPDEM ADC coalition members for this privilege to stand on existing protocol to talk. I want to appreciate you all for being here. Actually, this is a very good and wonderful movement that is for the benefit of the masses and the nation at large. Nigeria that has been robbed of its political ability, both for the youth and the adults and everyone inclusively. We are condemning the one-party system that has been in the country, and we are speaking against it. For a country to grow, a one-party system can never make a country. That is why a flower was created with different colors. Different colors has a lot to implement for a nation. It needs to join hands, Nigerians and everyone, every youth in Nigeria, every individual that wants the growth of this country should act and fight. Not but fight against the system of one party. Because why I'm saying it with all confidence is that they are for the growth of this country. And this COPDEM have been a system that is trying to make the youth and understand that the zoning system in Nigeria that and solve our issues. Zone is rightfully put today as we are arguing for the zone to go to the south. Let the see generally consider this our kit into for this time. So we can end of this nation.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. That's a powerful perspective there. Yes. We need balance in the country. We need to have zoning so that everybody will be carried along. Yes, sir. Please your name, sir.
National
Question
Chairman.
or contribution or comment?
Okay.
Contribution to the question.
Please carry on, sir.
All right, all due protocol observed. My name is Emmanuel, a member of ADC and Village Boys Movement. This is my first time of attending this meeting of COPDEM. Online, I've been seeing a lot of their movement, and I am big overwhelmed with the meeting going on today as a European and a Nigerian. A lot of things the youth have been pouring out in their heart is what is our nation. And like my colleague just said now, that we are not what our country is subjected to a one-party system. From our analysis, it's more than a one-party system that this men are for. But it's not a topic of today. We cannot stand it. And our plea is to the NDC, those who are involved in this election, we are pleading to them. A lot of statements have been passed that the power should zone to the south. I watched the convention of April in 2023 and one of PDP. And we know what happened to PDP faction today. Most of the PDP faction we are seeing are under the same ADC. We are pleading to them. What happened in PDP shouldn't repeat itself. With the intelligence of men we have in PDP, their integrity, they are fathers. These are men we, the younger ones, are looking up to. They should do what is right. Let the power to be sold to the south. And the south is to the system. It is time we let them come into the system of politics. Let us also see what they can offer to this nation. They are part of this nation. And we are pleading also that the young people should be involved in this politics. Intellectual in this young people, that they come into the system of this Nigeria. The women have tried. The Nigeria economy is, but I believe that the government should be given out its skills and ability now to see that this thing move forward to the permanent side. Thank you so much.
Emmanuel, that's an excellent one. So for our information and for your friends, just go to www.copdem.org/register. Is available. Register as a COPDEM member. We have the youth wing is very, very vibrant, and we need people like you to be part of this race. This is just the beginning, and we are continuing. Who is coming to sit here?
National Chairman,
It
can I
is
make a
your country. And if we don't finish it by 2027, you are supposed to continue. Because sometimes good things don't come easy. So please, www.copdem.org/register, be a part of COPDEM. Any other contribution?
Yes, National
Okay, yeah. The representative.
My hand is up.
Shiro Madangia. Yeah, I want to, with all protocols duly observed.
like they're having a network challenge over there. Let's give them
Okay.
a brief.
Can I say something?
The disconnect between us and them. Just go ahead and make your submission quickly.
All right, thank you. Yes, it's very important while we are talking about zoning. One fundamental thing we should also try to envisage is the fact that zoning can take place very well, but this is politics and this is democracy, which deals with a game of number. So I will plead that in this country where things sometimes are done in a very abnormal
Your network failure, you understand? The Form EC 8A would be used, you understand?
Okay.
So that caveat, you understand? It's a loophole, you understand? So what we should be mindful of is after casting our vote, you understand, we should stay and protect our vote. That's the most important thing that we should be looking out. To me, actually, ADC will surely zone its presidency to the south. So we should have that.
Gentlemen, I believe, okay, please. Yeah.
Yes.
Good afternoon, everybody. Can I stand on the existing protocol?
Yes. Just for the camera.
Nice. With the circumstances of other experiences of other elections that had come and gone, and COPDEM today is a social group, and ADC is a like in the previous election, I believe I worked for a which it was later we began to know that they have modes. Now, today, COPDEM does not have, I believe COPDEM does not have a say in ADC. And with the existence of our ruling party that they've told us that they have everywhere, when you finish an election and before you even say you're surprised the candidates that the party is bringing out is not even with you. So what is going to be the stand of COPDEM when ADC have since you don't have a say on what they want, what would be the drive of COPDEM if they might say, okay, this is what we're driving at, and we get to the junction and the vision of COPDEM? That's my question.
Anyone wants to go first, or do I just? Okay. So your question is, what will COPDEM do if ADC? Yeah, let me get you correctly so that I'm just.
ADC now has their own agenda.
Yes.
That has a vision of.
Okay, also mentioned because we don't have a say in. Okay, that's great. Politics is a game of numbers. There are over 40 million in population in the Middle Belt. There are over 20 million registered voters in the Middle Belt. So the Middle Belt has a kindly zone your presidential ticket to the south. We don't want to hear, we don't want what else. But look, when somebody is not treated well, even in primary school, if the teacher is busy beating one student, 7 years old, the others will tell their parents at home, teacher is always beating this person. They feel it. So we are human beings and all of us have feelings. So when injustice is perpetrated, everybody feels it because it can be you. So based on the population of the Middle Belt, we have a stake in ADC, that is one. And based on that identifies ADC as a coalition partner for and moved in, based on the fact that COPDEM subsumed its political, national political committee into ADC, and in every state of the federation, COPDEM mobilized members into ADC up till today. He is a COPDEM member, he's vying under ADC. He is a COPDEM chairman, he's vying under ADC. She is a COPDEM middle belt chair, she's vying under ADC. COPDEM has a say in ADC. But if very simple examples, what happened in 2023? This pendulum is in the south. You can produce the best candidate, but as long as Nigerians know, is it not the time of the south now? They will go for where they feel their conscience is. And then look at the example of Plateau State, 2015. The zoning formula had gone through. It was supposed to be the time of the southern zone before Lalong came in. But I think the PDP produced one of the best candidates I have ever seen in Nigeria when it comes to politics. Solid material like late JNS Porto. In fact, JNS can win the election just walking on the street. Yeah, I believe he won, but it will be easy for the opposition to mobilize the rest of the country against you. Very easy, even if there's no reason. So if ADC wants to have the sympathy and the patronage of the majority of Nigerians, they should be seen to be fair. You may not, even if you want to say Southeast, give them the South, let them do the primaries among them in the South. Although they have less time. So, I think we don't now. Even need to try. It's not going to this. The kind of mass, you will see ABC just go. You will see ABC fall in this. And that is what the one has COPDEM. And our love for ADC. And we told people when we are going for grassroots mobilization, inside the creek in Gosa, right down in Zangon, inside the T where there's no kwalta, and other places of Nigeria, even places that have been attacked, right in Zamfara. The question they ask us, is it the same with what we used to have? We say, no, this is a new one. We don't pick our agents this time. We have to keep giving assurances. It's there. So this, we have done our best as COPDEM. It's time for ADC to do what's best. Constitutionally speaking, the zoning is not in the Constitution. But there is no Constitution that says for a man to marry his daughter is okay. For a man not to marry his daughter is not the Constitution. You need to be told. No, you don't need to. That is how repugnant it is. When we are going to be fair, let us be fair to all. So let's do the right thing. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Give a vote of thanks to the head of, ladies, so that we close the program for today.
I want to say on behalf of myself as I want to say on behalf of as the middle belt I want to thank Nasarawa chairman, COPDEM chairman, who left Nasarawa despite the lack of oil and everything, and he was able to calm down to be part of this conference for today. I want to, and Benue chairman. Then we also want to thank Benue chairman Paul Nungo and from the chairman, and then Dr. Priscilla with her presentation. We thank everyone that have taken time to come here and be with us all this while. We want to say a big thank you to all of you. And I also want to tell you that we are preparing by Friday, hopefully, we'll be having another 2-man million match for the I like that. For the village boys, I pray that on that day, God will grant us the grace, the enablement, the opportunity for all of us to come out in our numbers to reach out and ask we keep you, and the media will continue to go from greater height to greater height. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Due process, you have a message for us from your end, because from here, and those of you online. And special thanks to our Board of Trustees, which is one, for making this program very, very possible. Chisom, Dr. Diallo, and the rest of you contributed for the success of this program. The next stop is going to be the Southern Zone, and we're going to bring the same message. In the meantime, due process, I hand over to you.
Yes, thank you. I want to really appreciate everyone that have been on ground to ensure that the program come to life and a wonderful success at that. Thank you, Pastor Paul Isaac, all the way from National State. Despite the biting fuel challenge, you're still able to make it to just Plateau State capital. So thank you all. Of course, our BOT partners, they have always been consistent in ensuring plans and programs go through as organization. Sincere thanks to everyone who have been part of this. God bless you, and ensure that the Lord will continue to replenish your sources and increase your bank accounts. Thank you all for joining, and viewers out there for watching. Thank you all. Do have a pleasant day ahead of you. God bless you, and do have a lovely, lovely evening. From me in the studio is Mr. Ako Christian Oche, and we have come to the end of the Middle Belt COPDEM ADC conference that was centered on building a working coalition, building a winning coalition in Nigeria at a crossroad. We all have a duty to ensure that we build a coalition that brings about a new Nigeria that is indeed very, very possible. In a family where a particular child has been sidelined for so long, it doesn't make sense to continue to watch in silence. And it is on that note that the stakeholders of the Middle Belt are coming together to say, no, let us zone the ticket to the south. And of course, we are all members of the ADC. Stakeholders at that, as rightly explained by the national chairman. We should learn from the missteps of the PDP that relegated them from the ruling party to a struggling party that can no more even function and go into any proper election in Nigeria. We should be able to learn from the 2015, 2019, and 2023 mistakes of previous political parties, and as well the sitting chairman of the ADC, in person of Senator David Mark, is a proponent of doctrine of necessity in the time when Nigeria was at the crossroad. The sitting president died. That was the person of President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, and there was no any constitutional ground for the VP to take over, but then he invented the doctrine of necessity. Doctrine of necessity is a time to apply the same doctrine of necessity by zoning this ticket to the south in order to appease the national mood and ensure that every segment of Nigeria is given a right of place in order to have a very unanimous winning come 2027. And of course, looking into what His Excellency Mr. Alex Otti has been able to achieve for the past 3.5 years, it shows that yes, one tenure is enough for any people-oriented government to achieve success. So zoning the ticket to the south will enable the Southerners to come together and present the credible candidates that will bring about a new era for Nigeria. So from me in the studio, it is thank you and God bless you. Good night, good morning, good evening, whichever part of the globe that you're watching. Remain Mr. Akpo Christian Oche, otherwise known as Due Process. Do have a pleasant evening and bye-bye.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you what you wanna hear. Leave my sunglasses on while I shed a tear. It's now the right time. Never see what's happening now. I don't know deep down. I'm torn. I've heard that it should be in told. On the way to make it so, but I'm afraid now. I'm a boxer with no brakes. I'm invincible. When every single game today, I'm so today. Unstoppable today.